Too big for tunnels, the suffocation of Corporal Botel. In January 1966, the Australian and U.S. armies launched Operation Crimp. This was a big mission deep in the Hobo Woods, a part of Vietnam called the Iron Triangle. The goal was to find and destroy vietcong tunnels spreading over 120 miles underground. The fighting was fierce, and the tunnels were dark, tight, and dangerous. Corporal Robert Walter Botel was a 33-year-old sapper in the 3rd Field Troop, Royal Australian Engineers. He was tall, about 184 centimeters, which made the tunnels even harder for him. On the 4th day of fighting, after using smoke and tear gas grenades in the tunnels, Botel crawled inside to clear the enemy's hiding places. These tunnels were so small that fresh air was already very limited. Smoke hung thick from the grenades and filled the air with poison gases like carbon monoxide, so he had to wear a breathing mask. As Botel crawled through the tunnels, his tall body blocked what little fresh air there was. He got stuck at a narrow opening in the tunnel floor, more than 2 meters underground. During the struggle to free himself, his breathing mask came loose. Trapped in the tight, smoky tunnel, Botel couldn't get enough air. He suffocated from a deadly mix of poison gas and lack of oxygen. The other sappers quickly realized Botel was in trouble. They rushed to help, risking the same dangers in the tunnels. But despite their brave rescue attempts, they couldn't save him. The autopsy showed he died from carbon monoxide poisoning and lack of oxygen. Botel was buried in Malaysia, but brought home to Australia in 2016. His death shocked his comrades so much that the Australian Army decided how they prepared and supported tunnel fighters, improving training and gear to try and prevent more deaths like Botel's. The Jumping Jack, the explosion of the 12th Platoon. In mid-1969, 12th Platoon of the Australian Army was patrolling near Ba Ria City in Vietnam's dangerous Vung Tau province. The platoon numbered around 24 soldiers, moving cautiously through an enemy minefield hidden in the jungle near tunnel entrances. Sergeant Rod Lees was a seasoned soldier leading part of the patrol. While moving inside a tunnel complex that was built and booby-trapped by the vietcong, Lees stepped on an M16 mine, nicknamed the Jumping Jack, for the way it exploded in midair. The blast was devastating. 3 soldiers died instantly: Corporal John Kennedy, Lance Corporal Michael Ball, and Private Anthony Loughran. Another 15 were wounded in the burst of shrapnel and force. Lees himself was badly injured in his legs, but somehow survived standing directly on the deadly mine. A miracle, but the danger wasn't done yet. After the explosion, Lees was trapped inside the tunnel, wounded and in shock. With fierce determination and despite searing pain, he dug and crawled his way through the confined, smoke-filled passages. Comrades called out to guide him toward the tunnel exit. Outside, fellow soldiers cleared a path through the minefield to get Lees to safety, while a medevac helicopter waited to evacuate the wounded under enemy fire. Lees's escape from the deadliest blast that day was a mix of grit, luck, and the support of his platoon. Even though Sergeant Lees survived against the odds, the explosion was deadly. 3 of his comrades died instantly, and many others were wounded. The minefields and booby-trapped tunnels remained a constant, deadly threat to soldiers. The shattered body, Michael Kenneth Klein's deadly tunnel trap. On October 20th, 1968, Specialist 4th Class Michael Kenneth Klein, a 21-year-old clerk typist with the 1st Engineer Battalion, 1st Infantry Division, was assigned tunnel duty in Vietnam. Klein wasn't a trained tunnel rat, he was a clerk, but in Vietnam, whoever was available went underground. Klein entered a narrow vietcong tunnel behind a sergeant. The tunnels were pitch black, barely wide enough to crawl through. Booby traps were everywhere. The sergeant pushed forward through the tunnel. Minutes passed, then he emerged alone, visibly shaken. Another soldier asked where Klein was. The sergeant said he had to find him. The soldier went searching in a nearby rice paddy. He expected to find Klein's body. Instead, he found 2 legs and a spinal cord. That's all that was left. The explosion inside the tunnel had been so violent that Klein's body was torn apart. Most likely, he triggered a pressure-activated mine or booby trap hidden in the tunnel floor. Michael Kenneth Klein was just 5 weeks away from his 22nd birthday. He is honored today on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall. He was one of 36 tunnel rats killed out of about 700 who served, a 33% casualty rate that made tunnel warfare one of the deadliest assignments in the entire war. The snake trap. Between 1965 and 1972, around 700 tunnel rats crawled through the dark tunnels of Vietnam. According to the U.S. National Archives, between 25 and 50 American soldiers were bitten by snakes every year during the war. But the Viet Cong didn't just let snakes live in the tunnels. They turned them into weapons. The bamboo pit viper was the most feared. Soldiers called it the two-step snake because they believed you could only take 2 steps after being bitten before you died. That wasn't true, but the venom was deadly. It caused flesh to rot, swell, and become unbearably painful within minutes. The Viet Cong would tie a bamboo pit viper to a hidden hatch in the tunnel ceiling. When a tunnel rat triggered a string or pressure pad, the hatch would open. The snake would hang from the ceiling and bite the soldier. Other times, they hid snakes inside bamboo tubes along the tunnel walls. When tunnel rats accidentally brushed against them, the snakes would strike. The Viet Cong also carried pit vipers in their backpacks. If American soldiers tried to search the packs, they'd be bitten. It was a deadly deterrent and booby trap in. 1. Despite the terror these traps caused, official casualty reports show few, if any, documented deaths specifically from snake bites among tunnel rats. Rapid medical evacuation and access to antivenom saved soldiers who made it out in time.